which we said is the most important verb in English. Very important. And we use it all the time when we're talking about what something is, where something is, what colour it is, what the name of somebody is, where they are. All the time we're using the verb be. And if we're talking now, the present, we say is, are, and am. But what we're looking at is if we're talking about yesterday, or last week, or last year, or last month, then we have to put the verb be into the past tense, because we're talking about the past, something that's finished. And then we change it, instead of is, are, and am, it becomes was and were, the past of the verb be. And we use was if we're talking about one person, I, or he, she, and it. And we use were if we're talking about you, or we're talking about more than one person. And we said there are three things you have to know. You have to know how to say yes. So you just say I was, you were, he, she, it was, we were, and they were. You have to say no, and to say no, then all we do is we put not after the verb be. So I was not, you were not, he, sure, it was not, we were not, they were not. And you can change was not to wasn't, or you can change were not to weren't. So that's how to say yes. How to say no, we just use not. And then we need to know how to make a question. And to make a question, we put was, or we put were first. So it becomes, was I hot? Or were they hot? Or was he hot? Or were we hot? So to make the question, we put was and were at the front. So that's the three things. How to say yes, how to say no, how to make a question. And if our question was, the answer will be was or was not. And if the question is were, the answer will be were or were not. Always a yes or no answer to those. Right, now let's go back to student book 43, which some of you found a little bit difficult. So let's come closer and let's have a look and let's put in the name of the people. Okay? So we've got Sue and Matt. They're nervous. Okay, let's just put that here, shall we? So Sue and Matt nervous. You can see them there, like having a test. They're biting their nails, I think. Okay, and then after that we've got Josh, Meg and Oscar excited. So this is Josh, Meg, Oscar. They're very excited. Okay, let's put excited here. Okay, and then after that we've got Danny who's sick. So this must be Danny. Danny got stomachache, so Danny is sick. Okay, and then after Danny, we've got Andy eating a sandwich, right? So let's put in Andy. This has got to be Andy, I think. And he is obviously hungry. Hungry Andy. Okay, then after that, Mandy was hot. So can we see, there we are, so there's Mandy. Mandy's there, let's put her name there. And she's obviously hot, you can see the sun. Okay, George was cold, so this has got to be George. And he's cold. Okay, and then Amy and Steve tired. And if you look here, you can see Amy and Steve. You see, look, you see his mouth is open. He's yawning. So they must be, they're the ones who are tired. And then who's left? Who's left is Mike and Evelyn. and they were pretty scared. So there we are. This has got to be Mike and Evelyn, and they are scared. If you look at their faces there, you can see. Okay, so let's have a look with the correct answers. Was Mandy hot? Yes, she was. Was Danny hungry? No, Danny was sick, so no, he wasn't. Okay, wasn't hungry. Were Amy and Steve tired? Yes, they were. Look, here he's yawning, so yes, they were. And were Evelyn and Mike scared? Oh, yes, they were. They were very scared. Okay, so now you can do something to test yourself. You look down here, look. You can see we've got 1 to 6, the names of people, and 1 to the 6, how they feel. So if you've got any dice like this, then you can test yourself. So if I have this one first, 5, Amy and Steve, 4, sick, then to say yes, I would say 2 people, Amy and Steve, were sick. I say no, Amy and Steve were not sick. And to make a question, I would say, were Amy and Steve sick? So you can do yes, no, and a question by using the 2 sets of dice. Let's do 2 more. Okay, so let's do number 4, George, and number 5, excited. So yes, George, 1 person, he, so George was excited. No, George was not excited. And a question, was George excited? 1 more. 4, George again. And 3, hot. So to say yes, we would say George, 1 person, he. George was hot, or no. George was not hot, or a question, was George hot? So if you use the dice there, then you can test yourself using was and were, saying yes, saying no, and making a question. Try it, see if you can, okay?